Hello everyone, my name is Jason Parker and welcome back to this channel about magic! By the way, if you're enjoying these reaction videos, 130 and counting so far, you can help support this channel by joining my Patreon. Simply go to Google and type Jason Parker Patreon. It's easy. And as a way to say thank you, I'm creating exclusive Patreon-only life updates and magic tutorials. For example, I recently uploaded a tutorial on how to change a playing card just by shaking it in the air. Kinda like this. At any rate, time to get into the reaction video. Today we're taking a look at the most recent episode of Penn and Teller's Fool Us Season 7. This is a magician named Yan Ma from China who's doing some kind of manipulation production act. I've heard that it's really good, so let's just go ahead and check out the performance.
The Chinese silks I use when I perform were created for me by my mother. Both my grandmother and my mother were professional magicians. Performing is in my blood. As a child, I went to acrobat school. I practiced 11 hours a day, 6 days a week for 6 years. Then I discovered ballet, and it too became my passion. My mother came to me and said, "Let's combine what you have learned with what I know," and my ballet magic was born. Mother and I worked for 3 years on just one routine. It won a top prize at the World Championship of Magic. In that moment, my mother's dream became my own. The Fool Us trophy is one more thing I can dream about.
Let's take a trip to China and take in the epic magic of Yan Ma.
Wow, what a nice background. Wow, okay, so I think the first impression I'm getting is that she's incredibly, insanely talented. I mean, you have two skills there. You have ballet, which some people perform just completely by itself, and you've got magic, like productions, like card productions, that some people also perform completely by itself. And she's doing both of them really well and combining them at the same time, which is pretty insane. I do believe what she was saying about the number of hours she was putting in for practice. Also, it's kind of interesting, you know, this outfit she's wearing, this tutu. I mean, I suppose she must be getting stuff from there, but I didn't see it so far, you know, and it seems like she's wearing something that's very minimal, yet she keeps producing these things. It's like bam, bam, bam. That's all so far. Let's keep going. imagine being able to do that while standing on your toes. Where did that come from?
Yan Yan Ma! Wow, that was incredible.
All right, I'm going to give you my thoughts briefly before we hear from Penn and Teller. That was really nice at the end where she was shooting the cards everywhere. One of those styles I'm pretty sure I'm familiar with. I think it was the long distance spinner method for a while, but then she was doing another option where she was kind of throwing them this way. And I was thinking, how is she able to continue to hold extra cards in her hands while at the same time zipping them so fast and so far? That's pretty cool. And lastly, probably if you're watching this with me for the first time, you were also very shocked when those huge flags came out there at the end. I mean, I guess looking at them, they had to like, you know, telescope out or something, but they were suddenly just so big and there that it really added to the level of impossibility that that could fit in her outfit. So yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. This is pretty unique and amazing. I feel like right now, some commenter down below is going to correct me and be like, well, actually, 30 years ago, there was a ballerina doing magic. And if that's the case, go ahead. I would like to know. But at this moment, I don't remember ever having seen anything like that, especially combining two art forms that require such a high level of technical talent. It was beautiful. It was talented. Let's hear what Penn and Teller have got to say. Do you think they will be fooled? Proceeding.
You like?
You're incredible at ballet. You're incredible at magic. I would imagine any little girl watching you would want to be able to do what you can do. Have you inspired other young women to go into magic?
Heck, I'd like to be able to do what she can do. All right.
Yeah, I think many girls look at my performance, they want to do some dancing with magic too.
So you come from a magic family. What did your family teach you about magic?
My mother teach me everything about magic. Every detail and how to perform and everything.
Have you always wanted to follow in her footsteps?
Yeah.
All right, let's check in with Penn and Teller and see if they know how you did your trick. Penn, Teller.
Wow. Yan, what an act. What an act. There was just this won't translate, I'm sure, but there was a ton of effects there. Just a zillion effects. I guess if you have the kind of stamina, willpower, skill, and grace to do ballet, that doing the magic manipulation is the same kind of thing. You do that stuff more beautifully than anyone I've ever seen.
Thank you.
You know, it's a manipulation act, and those are really hard to do in an interesting way, and you really do them in such an interesting way. Magicians for years have taken a tuxedo that looks like it's fairly form-fitting and found ways to people to take that for granted and then steal huge amounts of stuff out of it. You've got a ballet outfit that it looks like you couldn't hide anything in it. And yet you hide, as far as I can tell, everything in the world in there. So good and so wonderful and so beautiful and such a new idea. I mean, that whole act done in a tux would be breathtaking. Done in a tutu is a whole different level. You do every move in the book, and unfortunately, we've read that book. It's a wonderful, beautiful act, and I do not think you fooled us, but I wish you had, because we'd love to see you in Vegas. It's such a beautiful act.
Thank you for you too.
Do you agree they know how your trick worked?
Yes?
Well,
Beautiful.
well, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. Yan Yan
Yan
Ma.
Yan, so beautiful. So great, Yan Yan.
Thank you.
Alrighty, well, I'll go ahead and give you my concluding thoughts. First off, she was so talented, I felt like she deserved to win. How did you feel about that? Leave a comment below. I mean, I guess technically, if she's doing these productions and Penn and Teller have read the book and they know, then it's not a fooler. But, I mean, like, not one of those productions tricked them? I don't know. Anyways, we'll just have to believe them and take them at their word. But yeah, it's a shame she couldn't have got that trophy, because clearly she's put in so much work to develop both of those talents and then merge them together. And I thought it was super cool that she learned this, you know, from her mom, the magic side of it. So it's something kind of like passed on from the family. And in fact, I kind of wish they had a translator there so she could have given like a more detailed, in-depth response to Allison's questions. I felt like her answers were a little bit constrained by the language barrier. And yeah, I mean, like Penn was saying, it's really quite amazing how she could hide all that stuff into her tutu. Yeah, I know. I mean, I guess there's like folds and stuff in the fabric where stuff could be put, but she did it really well. And it kept feeling like things were just coming out of nowhere. And by the way, just to be transparent, and so you know, I did replace the background music during her act with other music in an effort to help fight off the music industry's equivalent of patent trolls here on YouTube. But yeah, that was just a beautiful performance, really enjoyable to watch, and I even loved the background. You know, she was in front of this majestic temple there. What's not to like? Anyways, I'd love to hear what you thought about her performance. Leave a comment below. Have you ever seen anything like this before? Can you think of any other acts where they're combining two different disparate skills together? Imagine combining something together. And now we come to that portion of the video where we might be able to learn a little something from Aesop. Pulling a story randomly, we have got a page where I've read all of them already. Going to another random page, we've got chapter 146, The Farmer and the Fox. A farmer was greatly annoyed by a fox, which came prowling about his yard at night and carried off his fowls. So he set a trap for him and caught him. And in order to be revenged upon him, he tied a bunch of tow to his tail and set fire to it and let him go. Jeez, that's a pretty vicious type of revenge. As ill luck would have it, however, the fox made straight for the fields where the corn was standing ripe and ready for cutting. It quickly caught fire and was all burnt up, and the farmer lost all his harvest. That's the end of the story, and we do have a moral of the story line here, which says, revenge is a two-edged sword. It's also a dish best served cold. Am I right? Yeah, no, actually I like this one. I think it's got an important message, you know? Sure, you might want to right wrongs to seek justice, but when you are cruel, when you're out purely for revenge and for the hatred, you gotta be careful because things can escalate quickly and you might be harming yourself even more. I guess we could take this to an even deeper level and say that when you have hatred for someone, when you're harboring this anger and you want to take revenge on someone, that all those feelings and everything could actually be causing more damage to yourself. Be aware of how you spend your time. Be aware of what feelings you allow yourself to really dwell upon. The time you spend focusing on those negative thoughts is not free time. That's your time. All right. I feel like that was a pretty good interpretation if I don't say so myself. Anything else we could say? I mean, at the same time, you don't want to be a pushover. You have to stand up for what's right. You have to defend yourself. You have to create incentives for the foxes not to keep on stealing your fowl. So I guess it again kind of comes back to having a balance, right? Perhaps the farmer should have sought out some way to have his justice and preventative measures without being so cruel and insane and setting them on fire. So yeah, I guess there's a couple slightly different aspects that are all kind of related in here. One of them is that, I forget the expression, but it was something like when you're hating people, you're allowing them to live rent-free in your head. So acknowledging the damage and waste of your time that these hateful emotions can take on you. The second one is being balanced and not going with extremes, extreme cruelty. You know, if you just go for justice or something like reasoned, you can avoid these situations that spiral out of control. And the third one, well, maybe there never was a third one. If there's a third one that you can think of, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to read that. And with that being said, I suppose that brings about a conclusion to this video. Again, if you're interested in checking out the Patreon, we have over 100 members there now, and I'm even open for types of videos you'd like to see on there as a bonus, as a way of saying thank you for helping to support the channel. So keep that in mind if you feel like it, or if not, simply smash like, consider sharing this video with someone else. Notifications, all! Not just some notifications, it has to be all notifications! Yeah, so, well, I hope that your week is going well. I wish you a good night's sleep, or possibly a good morning. Keep it magical, some other kind of catchphrases, and I'll see you next time. Yup.